What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully, you're doing awesome and taking care of yourselves. Welcome back. We're going to get into it. We're going to get down, we're going to get dirty. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about Independence Day resurgence. We're going to talk about alien prisons. We're going to talk about whether or not alien prisons could exist here on planet Earth, whether or not we could house aliens. So, thanks for coming back. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. What are we talking about here? We're talking about alien, alien prisons and Independence Day resurgence. Why did the two go together? Because Independence Day Resurgence, which is the second film of the Independence Day series, came out in 2015, was it? 2015, 2016? Let's see. I gotta refresh my memory here. 2016. You know, the first one had Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Will Smith, Vivica A. Fox, Brent Spiner as the Doctor, or Spinner, I guess, Spiner, I guess, from, Data from Star Trek Next Generation. And, just it had a great cast, I mean, it was such a great movie when it came out. I know everybody's going to say, oh, man, I don't like it anymore because of Will Smith. But you can't deny that the movie was awesome. So you loved it when it came out. You loved it now, let's face it. But the movie was great. The second runner-up here, the Independence Day Resurgence, wasn't as good because the first one's it's just classic. It was an instant classic. They brought in if you've seen the show The Boys, they brought in Jesse T. Usher, which is A-Train. They brought him in to be Will Smith's son to take his place. And the movie, I was pumped up about it at first. I was like, oh man, this is cool. Holy shit. They were actually traveling to an alien prison on the planet. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that is so cool. We have an alien prison on planet Earth. Holy shit, they've been housing multiple aliens. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why would they be housing aliens from the war back in 1996 when they took down the mothership? And I forgot that, they were still aliens on those ships. They got off of those ships. And in the movie, The Resurgence, they crash a ship in Africa. They go over to Africa and they're looking at this ship. It's still intact. The whole ship is still intact. It just crashed. But all these aliens came off, and all these dudes in Africa were in this basic war with these aliens for years, and they killed them and they took their weapons, and we imprisoned some of them because we wanted to gather intel on them. And we wanted to figure out, what else is going to happen. Well, turns out, while they're in this alien prison, these guys didn't do much of anything except for basically sit catatonic, is what they say in the movie. And it made me think. It made me think about the fact that we do have an alien prison here on planet Earth. We do, and it's they have it both at Area 51, S4. They have it probably at Dugway. And they also probably have it at Dulce as well. And the reason I say that is because it's been confirmed by Richard Doty, who's part of the Office of Special Office of Special Investigations for the Air Force, the AFOSI, Air Force Office of Special Investigations. And he talked about it. He talked about the fact that, hey, we got these guys under lockdown, and some of them are helping us, and some of them are not. Some of these guys are locked up, and they're not going anywhere because they're too violent, too aggressive, and we have to use a variety of detention methods, whether it's electric shock, whether it's biochemical, whether it's some other form of lockdown, physical lockdown, and that's how they do it. And they keep them there for a reason. Either they were violent, their species hasn't come back for them, they dropped them off here and didn't want them, and they just wanted us to lock them up. Who knows? But we do have our own prison for aliens here. And I was like, holy shit. So basically, in the movie, they have them in these like metal containers that have a window that you can see in. Basically, all the aliens are all the same. They're all from the 1996 movie, or 1996, I think it was. And they all are able to be seen, and they're all catatonic. They don't do anything. But when this movie starts, the another ship comes in. If you haven't seen it, there's some spoiler alerts, but not really spoiling anything because it's very similar to the first movie with a few very different things at the end. But I'm not going to spoil that. So at the beginning, this big alien ship comes in again, and these aliens start moving around, and they're all like excited, and they're all like flipping out, and the overseers of the alien prison are like, well, why are they flipping out? What's going on? And the reason is because the mothership is coming back, and they're actually communicating with a being on that ship. So that's really interesting because it is a hive mind. That's what they found out in the first movie. And so if they're a hive mind, I think that's fascinating too, because in the movie, they have about, 20, 30, 40, 50 aliens locked up in this alien prison. And they don't have really any way of really communicating with them because if they do, then they take over the human's mind, right? They use some sort of like signal that like was like static, super powered static, and like hurt our brains and made us give us headaches and shit like that. So they blocked that capability too. Now, what's fascinating is that, could you imagine if we had multiple species that were all telepathic, all locked up, like 40 or 50 of them? You got to imagine that even if they didn't have like tools and things like that, that they'd be so advanced that they would probably be able to get out with at least multiple beings being locked up, because they can communicate telepathically. They don't need to spread a football note like humans would from cell to cell on a string or a paperclip. No, they can just communicate with each other all the time telepathically, unless we blocked that capability with some sort of technology. So in an alien prison, you'd have to have those measures in place. Otherwise, they could escape. And even without having multiple beings from the same species being able to communicate with each other, they've still had escapes from the alien prison here on planet Earth. Richard Doty stated that he was one of the guys that was going out after these guys, trying to capture, what did he call it? A quataloid, basically like a humanoid type being, but a being that could produce its own food from two pockets, two holes in its hip. Beings that we really don't hear about, right? Too much on in any particular podcast or any particular stories. But I found that fascinating. I think that's interesting. So, is the movie worth watching? As we're talking about alien prisons in the movie, yeah, it's worth a watch. But you gotta love the characters. You gotta love Jeff Goldblum, who I love. You gotta like Bill Pullman. He kind of became crazy after the 1996 movie. I mean, in the storyline, not in real life. And he's got this full beard, and he looks all wild, like a wild man. And then you got Liam Hemsworth. He's great. Thor's brother. You can't go wrong there. And Vivica A. Fox makes a little cameo. She doesn't stick around too long. But Brent Spiner as the doctor, as the long-haired crazy doctor, it's really cool. Like he actually starts writing down some alien language, and I always love to see the different ways that you could write an alien language. I even came up with some of my own. So I found that fun. William Fichtner, a lot of people know him from Prison Break. A lot of people know him from Armageddon. He was Lieutenant Willie Sharp, who went up in the ships with Bruce Willis. He was like the tough, hard-nosed lieutenant, right? I think, or Colonel Willie Sharp. Well, anyway, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, that dude, he's just, you love him when you see him on there. You just feel good that he's in the movie. And he plays a big role in that. And they bring back a lot of other people too, but we actually get a moon base in this movie. We get to see a few young stars start coming up, but we start also getting, our favorite characters back as well. And, anytime you got Jeff Goldblum in a moving vehicle, you always think about like Jurassic Park or something like that. It just makes you laugh. It just makes you have a good time. And he's just a great actor. He just carries the movie. At one point, you thought he might die, and he might still die in the movie, but at one point I thought he might die, and I'm like, oh man, it was kind of early in the movie. I was like, oh my God, is he going to die? He didn't die. And I was like, oh, he can't die yet. I mean, Jesus, he is the movie. What the hell? He can't die yet. He's the main star. So, did I like this movie? Yeah, I like the movie. What would I give it? I give it on a rating of 1 to 5 or 0 to 5 stars. I gave it like a 3.5. You know, it brought back nostalgia for me. Um, but was it like the super blockbuster that it could have been? Could could it have been better? Yeah, I think so. First one, 5 stars all the way, 5 stars. You just can't go wrong with that initial movie. Um, so what about alien prisons again? Let's move forward into that. A society is only as good as how it treats its prisoners. And as a society, humans haven't done quite a nice job of taking care of their prisoners, both human and alien. As human, let's just look at human prisons for a second. As a human prison population, America is the worst. America's the worst. I mean, as far as how many people we have per capita, we have over 700 people. It's like 732, 750 per 100,000 people in prison. That's as many as you're going to get in any country. Are they the worst prisons in the world? No. Are they the best? Hell no. You know what the best ones are? Denmark, Finland, Norway, especially Norway. They're basically like condominiums. Beautiful scenery. They have recording studios if you want to record music. If you want to be a writer, they teach you how to do that. They teach you how to do all these things. And they're beautiful prisons. So if you want to get in trouble, go to Norway and get in trouble. Unless they kick you out and make you send you back to America. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they keep you wherever you commit the crime, right? So anyway, in this in regards to how we treat our prisoners and how we would treat the aliens, I mean, I think that we would try to communicate. We have tried to communicate with these aliens. They have given us reverse technology. They have given us skills in order to protect ourselves from other beings and entities. That's something that does come up in Resurgence as well, which is interesting. It's part of the plot line. But as far as humans go, humans on humans, I mean, we've privatized prisons, which basically means that we made them a business, which is horrible because now they're making money off of people being in prison. They're making money off it. That's where it becomes a crime. That's where it becomes a problem because now you can't treat people humanely when you're trying to save money and make profit. You have to use the money from your society in order to maintain prisons. They don't have to be the best, but they don't have to be the worst. And I think a lot of prisons in America are pretty crappy, and they don't care about rehabilitation. They just care about the bottom line, and they care about less and less staff. They care about money, and they don't care when you get released either. Yeah, you might be on parole, and you might have to check in with a parole officer. But as far as caring about you goes, send you off with $50 or whatever it is, and it might not even be that, and a bus ticket, and that's it. If that, and that's all you get. And how can you expect a person to become a successful member of society when they can no longer vote, they can no longer apply for most jobs. They did their time, but we're not allowing them to fulfill their time. Well, let's look at aliens. What if we kept an alien for a certain time period? Let's say we capture them and we say, hey, we're going to keep you for 6 months. And then at that point, we're going to let you go. We're going to ask you for all the information. Then at the end of 6 months, we're going to release you. You can go back home. That would be kind of, somewhat humane. But they don't do that. They just, they either keep them indefinitely until they die, or they end up killing them, right? And the same thing goes with human prisons. They don't really take care of you in prison, despite what some people might say. They might say, "Oh, I committed a crime to go to prison so I could get health care." That was actually what one guy did up in Washington State. He actually robbed a bank so that he could get dental care because he couldn't get it any other way. It was ridiculous. So is if a society is judged by how they protect their elderly and how they take care of their imprisoned, then we are a disgrace, especially with the military veterans as well, right? Was it 22 vets die by suicide per day? There's just so many things that go wrong with our society and our prison system and our healthcare system that if we're looking at, you know, Independence Day resurgence, how they take care of their aliens, and the fact that they basically just kept them in these metal cells 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 20 years, and all of a sudden these guys come back. Of course they're going to be rejoicing. Of course they're going to want to destroy the planet Earth. Of course they're going to want to take their revenge out on people. We have to be better as a society. We have to do better in our prison reform. We have to do better in our reformation of people. And people are either going to take it or they're not going to take it. I just listened to a podcast where a prison psychologist was on it, and he was talking about the fact that many people who he meets are similar to a lot of people out in public. However, a lot of people that are in prison seem to have this kind of like very surface level ADHD or ADD kind of mentality where they don't get too deep into conversations. They're kind of like on the level of used car salesman mentality of what we think used car salesman mentality are. I'm not saying used car salesmen are horrible people at all, because I know some of them are my friends too. Not all. I'm just saying I just know a couple. But I think that, you know, the mentality of a lot of people that happen to end up in prison, you know, is that, you know, according to this guy, is that a lot of people are very surface level while they're in prison. They don't want to give a lot of information away. They don't want to, you know, it's not a place where you feel very open and wanting to be honest and with somebody you don't know or somebody that could use that information against you. We have to foster an institution that allows the people that get there, for whatever reason they get there, to become rehabilitated, not to be part of a business system where we're going to buy and sell ourselves off. There's people that will not go. There's people that refuse to go to prison if they're going to be arrested, or they're going to, you know, if they're going to be committed, you know, for some crime that maybe they did or maybe they didn't do. They're willing to take themselves out, or take themselves out by an officer taking them out. You know, so there's lots of reasons why you know, people don't want to go. It's not rehabilitative. It's not protective. It's scary. It's a lockdown situation, and people understand what it is. We know what it is. It's not for anything other than for them to keep us under their thumb and to make money. You know, it's a whole money system. It's a whole economy. So they want to make the attorneys want to make the most they can off you. The government wants to make the most they can off you, and that's about it. That's about it. You know, it's not really all about justice. It's more about what their win percentage is in court. Can they win this one? If their win percentage is over 95%, then guess what? They're going to get reelected. The DA is going to get reelected. They want to keep it over a certain percentage, so they won't even go after certain cases if they don't have enough evidence, even if they want to. So, I don't know. It makes you think a lot about society, a lot about what's going on in society, and whether or not humans are going to make it as a society. Empires rise and empires fall. Whether or not humans will make it at all is really up to the fates that be. So I'll leave it at that. If you want to see Resurgence, go ahead and check it out. Might be worth it for you. May not be. But check it out nonetheless. You may enjoy it. In the meantime, I hope you take care of yourselves. Physically, spiritually, emotionally. Take care of your family. Do a bunch of things that you love to do while you have the time. You may not have the time tomorrow. Do them today. If you can't do them today, do it on the weekend. Do what you love. Enjoy your life. Stay positive. Stay healthy. Stay strong. Project love out into the world. Project love around you. And I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Please go like, follow, share, subscribe. And I'll be back again. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.